You are looking live at our split studios. This is Fantasy Baseball Now, episode 96 for our show, part of the ball9.com podcast network. On tonight's show, Mike and I, he's Mike, I'm Sean. We take a look at 10 players who have historically been second half guys, and will their career trends continue? Some guys been in the league 4 years, some double digits. And we'll take a look at that list and see if anybody's out there you might want to go try and trade for in your league. That and who's hot, who's not, who to go get and cut. Early look at under the radar 2-star pitchers for week 19 and what teams have the better pitching or hitting matchups for next week. What up, sir?
Not much. Good evening, big man from Massachusetts, the new owner of Sal Stewart. Before we dive all the way in, please don't forget to follow us at ball9.com. On all our socials, we're on every single one of them. Our YouTube channel, Getting a Lab as we're ramping up with Getting a Lab as well, and coming soon to a theater near you in IMAX.
Absolutely.
IMAX Kepler, who's clearly cheating again. I'm good because I'm in the big league. I'm back in first place, and I'm feeling pretty in my rightful place on the throne. I've rightfully taken my throne, the crown. Drake Baldwin, thank you, big man, has decided that he likes the change of scenery dramatically, but weather wreaking havoc on the East Coast tonight. Phil's in a late start. Yankees and Pirates rained out. Orioles and Boston rained out. So the chance for the 14-game winning streak ends. And we'll probably touch a little bit on a trade deadline next week. But the Red Sox were selling everybody, and now they're talking about who they might add.
No, they're not.
Well, look. They're in the last wild card, which is astounding, given the chance, giving the fact of where they were 2 weeks ago. They're in the last wild card, so they're a game and a half up on the Rangers. I still think the Tigers are the most interesting team for me at the deadline.
Yeah, we'll hit on that next week. I think they're going to keep Skubal.
And Mize. I think they're going to keep them both.
They see a chance. So we've been in the second half, but we're post All-Star break. So we wanted to take a look at guys who historically are awesome in the second half, or maybe not awesome, but they improved their numbers.
Yeah.
Numbers don't lie, right? When a guy's been doing it for years, you can't shake a stick at it, So here's the list. We have 10 guys. Here's some nice candid headshots for each. And we're gonna get into we'll show you their stats in just a minute. It's career averages, right, for the second half.
Yeah, career average over time. So not their totals, but what they've averaged and the number of seasons. So I only went back to 2015, so it's 10 years. And 2026 is not included because last night Freeman, Turner, Betts, and Machado all homered. Not coincidentally, Turner twice, Mookie twice, like right off the jump in the second half. So it's really with this is, what we'll talk more about is there's a couple of omissions on this list that are very obvious, but we'll talk. I'll mention why when we get to the names. But really is who can you actually go get?
Yep.
Like who's a value trade that you could make, and we're only talking like, look, you either want to win or you don't. That's the bottom line. You're looking at these players, whether you want to win. If you want to win, and you've got a position issue, these guys can fix them. Michael A. Harris was a shocker to me on this list, but but the fact is the fact. And he had a huge second half last year.
Yeah.
But we're at the point right now where it doesn't make any difference what the format is and how many teams there are. If it's 15 by 15, 12 by 12, 10 by 10, roto, head to head. But probably the most importantly is dynasty. And you have a chance to win. And are you willing to trade a dynasty possible player to win?
Correct.
I am, because I don't even know if there's going to be a season next year. So I'm not even thinking about 2028. I'm going to go completely all in. I'm not worried about draft. I'm a little bit worried about draft picks, especially when I look at how many I have left over moves I've made in the last month. But I'd rather gloat for a year and worry about next year's draft at next year's draft, to be quite honest with you.
I have a trade in the hopper you don't know about, and I was gonna get a call at 8:00, but I'm doing the show instead. And it kind of goes against my philosophy of trading a top hitter for a top pitcher. But I need pitching more than I need hitting. My offense is set. But Nick Kurtz is probably leaving my team tonight, even getting word that he may be back as soon as this weekend or tomorrow morning. We'll get that consummated. But I need Tarek Skubal's pitching more than I need Nick Kurtz's offense.
Yeah. Tarek Skubal, wherever he's pitching, it doesn't make any difference. Frankly, it is what it is.
And the reason I'm doing that, for context on my team, I got Mizorowski, I got Chase Burns. I'm a little worried about innings limits there. I need another.
I think we're going to talk about Chase Burns next week, if I'm being honest.
Okay.
Because we're going to talk about innings limits, and pitchers you might want to be afraid of in the second half. I think Chase Burns is one of those guys. I'm not so sure about Miz. It seems like he's put himself in his own innings limit program. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, they pulled him last night after 65 pitches. They said his legs weren't 100%, but he hadn't also pitched in 2 weeks because they pulled him from the start last
2 weeks off. He's 23 fucking years old. What do you mean his legs are wobbly?
I know.
I had 11 drinks on Saturday, and I could walk a straight line, for God's sakes. I'm 63.
Exactly.
Come on.
Exactly. All right. So
stop babying these guys and give them the ball and let's go. Come on. We got leagues to win.
Let's get to our 10 guys.
We got bets to cash in.
Yeah, right.
So these are sorted in batting average. And I think the thing that's most important is the number of years over which this has happened. Of the guys on this list, there are two massive omissions that have traditionally had huge second halves. Aaron Judge is one, but you can't make him a target if you don't think he's going to. I don't know when he's going to play.
Yeah.
He still hasn't gotten positive imaging. They transferred him to the 60 IL, probably more procedurally, but
I put him out through August, right?
In a dynasty league, I'm going to go out and get him. Right. So 60 IL, because I have O'Neal Cruz, he's August 8th eligible to return. The other guy is Juan Soto, who's had massive second half numbers in his career, but they're almost the same as his first half numbers. That's how good he's been over a long period of time.
Yep.
If you've been paying any little bit of attention at all for the last 4 years, and Scott White mentioned it when he was on with us a couple of weeks ago, second half Julio's a real thing.
Oh,
and to average 15 home runs in the second half is pretty big. Your favorite guy, Freddie Freeman, that's a pretty damn good 10-year run in the second half. And I
tried 3 different offers to get Freddie Freeman on my team this weekend, one of my most loathed players. But I also wanted to bring him back with Logan Gilbert for Nick Kurtz. Unfortunately, the owner of those two was on a beach in Cape May, New Jersey last night with a cocktail in his hand and didn't get to the offer in time, so I yanked it.
You're going to make me sing the Cape May song. On the way to Cape May, I fell in love. Yeah, so Cape May, New Jersey. Here's, for me, I look at this list, and I'm like, who can I go get that's not going to cost me a fortune, or that I'm going to have to sacrifice a key dynasty player for that could help me at a position of need. And who am I most afraid of on this list to go get? So Manny
Altuve's
Machado,
the guy. I wouldn't mess with Altuve because he sucks.
I'm more concerned with Bichette, honestly, because if he gets traded, don't forget he's got a $42 million player option, which he would be a fool to not opt into next year. They very well could trade him as they just get worse and worse. And they're actively shopping a number of players. A change of scenery for Bichette didn't work out well at the beginning of the year when he got to New York, and I worry about that with him. Mookie's a little old; you could probably get him cheap, but he and Trey Turner at short. I mean, you need some steals. Trey Turner's averaged 14 steals in a 10-year period, and he's running again. And he had a great offensive night last night, booed defensively. But I think Manny's the guy I'd try to target if I needed to target somebody.
Did you see? I think it was his first at bat last night. He had a bunt single because Austin Riley was playing out in Valdosta, Georgia, instead of near third base. And Machado dropped a bunt and beat it out. I'm like, hey, man, anything to get over 200, whatever it takes. He had a big smile on his face after he legged it out.
Whatever it takes. The other thing that surprised me was Matt Olson. That surprised me a little bit, and not so much the power numbers and the runs and RBIs. Is that like 271 in his career in the second half? That's a lot of contact for a guy that's not a 271 career hitter. Back to Freeman, the thing that makes those stats even crazier is he's been on such great teams for the entirety of his career that a lot of September he was getting rested. Even if he played, he might get 2 at bats and then get pinch hit for or pinch run for. Like they started resting him for the playoffs. In LA, they absolutely have, and in Atlanta, they were as well. So
the funny part, go back to Olsen for a second. A year ago, June, he looked like a guy whose bat was slow, couldn't catch up to pitches, and was falling off the cliff a little bit. And then he found the fountain of youth last August and went absolutely ape shit in the last 2 months of the year, and he's kept it up.
Yeah, I'm not going to accuse anybody of doing anything. Far be it from me. But Jerkson Profar was his teammate last year. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not saying that, I'm not saying.
No.
Yeah, so he's a 258 career hitter, but he's at 271 in the second half for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
And I could probably count on 2 hands the number of times he's been traded at or near the All-Star break because people were down on him getting off to slowish starts. And they were rewarded for trading for him. So good hope for Vladdy, right? We both think that Vladdy's going to have a better second half.
I don't think he can do worse.
Well, it's not power-wise, but the numbers do back. But the numbers do, like historical numbers, do back up our gut feeling that says Vladdy might be a guy to go get. I mean, Bryce Harper's another guy that could have been on this list, but his first half numbers and second half numbers are relatively the same. He's relatively consistent, and he's got some injuries, and I try to take that into account as well. Guys that missed like significant, like a half year. I mean, if you missed a half of a second half, like Bobby Witt Jr. did, his numbers are really good, but it's not 3 years, it's really 2. That's not enough of a sample size. Plus, he's such a great player, and that's not the way to go. I don't know about you, but if I don't think I'd want to give up what it would take to get Julio.
Yeah.
Unless the team that had him was moving him to get lots of pieces to try to win. I would obviously want to take him as a dynasty player, but what it would take to get him might put so many holes in the rest of your offense and the rest of your team that he's not worth the get.
If I had to pick one guy on this list that I would absolutely try and go get if I needed third base, it'd be Machado.
Yeah, you and me both. That'd be
He
my
still
top.
got 19 homers, 56 RBIs, and scored 47 runs. It's the 198 average, but that'll come up. He's too good of a hitter to be flirting 200 all year. He's just too
Yeah, if
good.
our pal Todd was on, he would tell you Machado's hitting a lot of bad luck. And the
Yeah.
and the X plus minus parentheses apostrophe, percent sign stats would bear that out, because to have the other counting stats that he has with that low of a batting average, and his strikeout rate's not unusually high for him, that just means he's hitting to a lot of bad luck.
Who on this list would you sell other than Altuve, who's not really even rostered?
Who would I sell? I wouldn't have Altuve on my team.
So neither would I. I mean,
it's kind of hard for me to sell him. I would sell Bichette in a minute.
Yeah.
Because only just based on what I started with is that if he gets traded, I don't trust that these numbers are going to be the numbers. I don't.
Do you think playing in New York under the weight of that contract? I always try to get leery of guys who sign the big deals in the off season and where they're going to go, and is that now an anchor?
Look, I think there is something to that. I do, but I also think, and this is not my normal shot at the Mets. I think when the payroll is that high and the results are that poor, that the pressure is even higher. So if you remember, Lindor got off to a terrible start as a Met. Soto got off to a terrible start as a Met. Actually, the only player that they've had in the last 5 years that's been consistent versus the contract is the guy that's playing for the Orioles right now.
Yep.
And I think whatever Bichette's given them right now is probably more than anybody. Like, it's certainly, he's hitting better than everybody expected him to. Like, nobody knew what was going to happen. People were mocking that. The Phillies are still pissed that he didn't sign here, but I think I don't know. So I was saying to my future son-in-law last night, when those unbelievable Field of Dream uniforms came out that the Phillies and the Twins are going to wear for that August 13th game, I'm like, I guess I'm going to have to get me one of those 1939 to 41 road gray Phillies uniforms. And he goes, well, they're $420, by the way.
Jesus.
And he goes, who would you get? I go, I'd get Alec Bohm, because we're the same. We both have the same amount of talent as baseball players. So
there you go. Keep it real.
I mean, the hair would separate us clearly. His is all over the place. Mine is neatly shorn, so it's not in my eyes. But I like Turner. I do. I think if I was going to go in order of who I would target Olsen and I would target Turner, because if I needed runs scored, I'd 1,000,000% get Turner, because the Phillies are going to score a ton of runs.
He's got 66 already going into tonight.
Yeah, he's going to end up with 110 probably, and they're starting to score more and more. And steals are a premium anymore, and if you can grab them, then I'd grab them. And shortstop has been far more I feel like shortstop's been far more disappointing on the whole this year. Of the big name players, not the Otto Lopez's and the Colson Montgomerys and the that group of guys that came out of nowhere and have had really, really good years. Seager, like those guys they've not lit it up like we expected them to, based on everything that they've always done. It's been a competitive position, but certainly not what we thought.
Yep. Yeah, it has been strange for that position. We'll go back to Freeman for a second. He is the 15th ranked first baseman in CBS of guys that they will allow at the position.
I don't understand that.
Yeah.
I don't.
He's hitting 285, 52 runs, 15 homers, 51 RBIs.
That's low for him, his batting average, but he's still in that lineup. He's never hurt. He plays every single day. He's going to generate points. He doesn't have as much power as you'd like him to, but that's been going on for 6 or 7 years. Right? Like he's a late 80s Mattingly Boggs guy with 1 million doubles and a bunch of key base hits and a lot of RBIs, and that's what he is. And yeah, there's a bunch of other power hitters at first base, but I mean, batting average and or OPS is a stat that matters, and he's going to have a decent number in both of those. I don't understand how he's 15th. I really don't. And now because of that, you made me had to look. So okay, Kurtz, Rice, Olsen, Harper, Alonso. He's 6th in today's rankings. So he's moving up. Vargas. I mean, Vladdy's 8th. Yeah, but Josh Naylor, really disappointing year.
Yep.
Rafael Devers, pretty disappointing year. Murakami was hurt for long stretches of time. Jonathan Aranda's had a really good year. Christian Walker's 19. He should be much higher than that. Luis Garcia's 21. He should be much higher than that. Yes. They've both been better than that. They've both been better than that. But yeah, it's a tough position. It's a tough position. Given the names that play first base in Major League Baseball, it's not a slam dunk anymore. Especially when Vlad's having a down year, and when Kurtz is hurt, and when I mean, Yandy Diaz technically is a first baseman, but he DHs. Sal Stewart's technically a first baseman, but he plays third base all the time. I mean, Wilson Contreras had a really nice year. Alec Burleson's had a really nice year. Nobody was talking about either of those guys before the season started. Everybody was high on Taylor. Everybody was high on Devers. Nobody was high on Christian Walker. Everybody was high on Pascantino. He's been hurt forever.
I wasn't. I had to cut Burleson.
Not everybody. Me.
I had to cut Burleson in May because I had Alvarez and Kurtz for my first base DH combo. Burleson was outfield, losing eligibility in our league, and I couldn't trade him. He didn't have any name value. Nobody would want to trade for him, and now he's having a career season, age 27 year.
Yeah, this is age 27 year, and depending on your league, he's first base and outfield qualified.
Yeah.
I mean, he's got 53 runs, 15 homers, 69 RBIs on the Cardinals.
Yep.
And he's hitting 280, and he's only struck out 61 times in 370 plate appearances. And he's like 2-to-1 strikeout to walk. So, and that's pretty close to his career average. I mean, he's a sneaky little. He would have been a sneaky little signing if you could find a way to play him. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Like, at that position, you're not going to bench Bryce Harper for Burleson. You're just not.
No.
You're going to let Harper figure it out, because you bench him and then he has a 7-homer week, and then you kick yourself in the head.
All right.
Now let's go to.
You already moved on.
Let's go to hotness.
Let's go to hotness. Who's hot? Who's not? Let's start with the hot guys. You can lead off, my friend.
Let's go. So, as Merlin Valdez has been about as hot as you're going to be, he's up to 85% owned, and he should be. But in his last 21 games, he's 333, 7 homers, 22 RBIs, 21 runs, over 63 at-bats. Another jump into the Pirates lineup that has been surprisingly 100% better than last year. And he homered last night. I don't know how he'd be only. I mean, his ownership at this point should be higher, and he should be started everywhere he's on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Should have an embarrassment of riches.
they're talking about him today on MLB Network about, as far as rookie hot streaks when they first come up, and then he ranks there with a lot of dudes
With
for the
Shane
way
Spencer and Mike Vail.
And my guy, if you've waited out Nolan McLean all year, then God bless you, because it's been a painful ride. But
Yeah.
he's ranked third in CBS in the last 21 days, 4 starts in that time frame, 3-1, 29 strikeouts in 24 innings pitched with a whip of 1. Maybe it's coming together for him. He's been one of the top. It's not a stretch. He's one of the top disappointments this year in fantasy baseball. Heavy hype on him early in the year in the draft process, and he has sucked, but not lately for your Mets.
Yeah, back and forth though between him and Schlittler in the offseason about who should be taken first. And most of the time, McLean was taken first, and Schlittler's clearly outperformed him tremendously. I mean, he's one of the guys that the Mets are saying are untouchable in this fire sale they're reporting to be having, and I don't blame him.
No, he's a keeper. He's
he's a must start in all formats. I mean, he's not going to get any wins because they don't win any games, but
all right. Now, who is cold as ice? We should get foreigner music on this one?
We should. We'll bring that up to the production staff.
Yeah, although that'll get banned like our Aussie tribute show. For me here, it came down to Mackenzie Gore or his shit-ass teammate Nate Eovaldi, who I'm done with. He just does enough to make you think about playing him, and then he goes out and gives you a whip of 2 every single time. That's Eovaldi. Gore's worse. Last 21 days, 4 starts, 8.24 ERA, 1.42 whip. Yes, here's the problem. 25 strikeouts. Here's the problem with benching the guy or getting rid of him. 25 strikeouts in 19 and 2/3 innings during that awful stretch. The problem with that is he makes you have to think about playing him because of the one stat.
No, you don't.
Eovaldi, I just kid. Am I going to get Eovaldi from last year pre-injury? Well, guess what? I'm not. He'll strike out some guys, even though last night he didn't strike out anybody. The reason why I wouldn't roster Gore is those strikeouts are good enough to somebody's going to want them. Let somebody else have them. You hear me say it all the time. Make him somebody else's problem. Make somebody else have to make that decision, and hopefully they'll play the guy and they can suffer through that 8.24 ERA.
I mean, far be it for me to be right and tell everybody about it because it's not my way. But Mackenzie Gore, everybody is on the Mackenzie Gore bandwagon before the season started. Change the scenery in Texas. They're going to win 1 million games. Mackenzie Gore sucks from a fantasy standpoint. Here's the easiest way to avoid the pain of Mackenzie Gore. Never roster him.
Correct.
Never. There isn't a question for me about whether I'd start him because I wouldn't roster him in the first place, and I'd never start the guy. And in a 2-start week, you're just killing yourself.
He is starting.
He's a mess. He's a negative points guy head to head.
He's owned an 80%.
Irrelevant. When you're giving up 7 runs in 5 innings, you're going to get negative points. And
87% of CBS owners own him. 50% start this guy.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Not me.
I don't know why. Because maybe they got Nathan Eovaldi and they're making a choice.
I played him. He woke up sick on Friday, and I was going to bench him, and I'm like, no, he's going to start. I'll play him. You're trying to find starts coming out of the All-Star break instead of going 3 starters and 4 closers. And then
he started, and you woke up sick.
Yes. Very good.
Maybe he had some of that. Maybe he had some of that Taco Bell lettuce, and everybody.
No shit. Jesus, it was awful.
And then my guy and Corbin Carroll. This is a life-size picture of Corbin Carroll. How he's still the 6th-ranked outfielder on CBS. He is an unbelievable player, but in his last 57 at bats over 3 weeks, 105. That's not a lot of hits. With a homer, 4 RBIs. and 7 runs scored. He does have 3 stolen bases. The triples machine, you can't hit triples if you're not getting on at all. And he's in a bad way right now. He's the ultimate buy low guy.
Yep.
If he's on a team that's near the top of the standings and he's killing that team's offense, he's an ultimate buy low guy. He's a dynasty save guy, without a doubt, right? He is not going to hit 105 for the rest of the year, I don't think. And it might not cost you as much to go get him right now as it would normally. But boy, he is really scuffling right now. Really scuffling.
Yeah. Well,
and they're playing good ball, and he's scuffling.
Now, if he can't get it going this week with the Athletics and that embarrassment in town, then cut bait. You get a lot for him.
You would get a lot for him.
Yep. All right. Who shall you go get?
Who shall we go get?
Per our wisdom or perceived wisdom.
If you want to accuse me of having a potential stroke when I put this guy's name down, I can't argue. I can't argue with that. He's been highlighted for us to start, like any way you could be highlighted. Go get him, hot, cold, cut, add. This week he's finally add. In the last 3 weeks, over his last 4 starts, he's thrown 21 innings with 19 Ks to a 2.14 ERA and a 0.95 whip. And he's only 35% owned. And I understand why. I get it. I know why he's only 35% owned, because every time somebody picks him up, he slaps him right in the face with a third of an inning with 8 runs and 7 walks and no strikeouts like that. One of those starts. But right now, he's not a bad get at 35%. He's not a bad get at all. I trust him more. This is hard for me I can't believe I'm saying this out loud. I trust him more right now to start for me than Mackenzie Gore.
Oh, absolutely. Well, I mean, yeah, I would too.
We're talking about Brandon Pfaadt, right? Like this is the guy we're talking about. Oof.
Yeah, he'll come up and he'll make you regret it, but you just don't overdo it with him.
Maybe he won't, but.
And my guy, you need a second baseman out there in your leagues. He's only owned in 45% of CBS, started in 32. Cole Young, he's only 22 at a weak position. The last 3 weeks, hitting 275, 13 runs, 6 homers, 11 RBIs out of that position. He was on my team, I think, back in April when I was struggling at second base. Then I picked up Otto Lopez, and he went Otto Lopez on me, and so I didn't have a use for Young, and then I picked up Bryce Durang anyway when Lopez moved to shortstop. But you could do a lot worse than Cole Young at second base.
Absolutely, and with all the hype on Cole Emerson, he's been like he's had a low key, really, really good year for them.
Yeah, he is.
He's not been the problem with their offense.
No, they have plenty of those.
And why they struggle offensively. It's really relying on the big crapper to hit another 60 home runs, which hasn't happened. And Josh Naylor sucking.
I don't know what hell. He might be in the victim of a guy that got paid.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. Yeah, sometimes guys get paid and
it's not the same.
They can't steal bases because there's too much money in their back pocket. Maybe he's carrying all those pennies that have disappeared from circulation.
Maybe so.
Maybe
so. Now the favorite graphic. Who should you just end it? Just end it. Where is it? Go.
Boy, you're
well, it's not clicking. We'll try one more time.
You know what? It's good that showed twice because Lawrence Butler deserves 2 intros. He deserves 2 intros. Oh, what used to be.
Speaking of guys that have dropped off the map when they got paid.
Holy smoke. So last 21, he's 140 with 2 RBIs and 3 runs. You know what? Corbin Carroll's actually worse in the last 21. But Corbin Carroll's not hitting 195 with 5 homers, 23 RBIs, and 32 runs scored. And inexplicably, he's still rostered in 43% of the leagues. He was terrible in the second half last year. Terrible.
He was terrible all year.
And he's worser this year.
Yep.
So, and I don't know if it was, I don't think it was while we were doing a show, but you and I were debating about him because he was a bounce back guy for you. And I'm like, dude, ain't not happening.
I drafted him and I quickly cut him. I'm like, nope. And I'm an athletic supporter. Yeah, pun intended. He sucks. He sucks.
He's not good.
He was one of those guys that they had to get up to the threshold on payroll to get the union off their ass. So they gave him a bag because he had a big second half of his rookie year.
Oh yeah,
that's all he's done. He's done.
Now they can't trade him because he's making too much money.
Yeah, yeah. It's a return on investment, and there ain't any.
No.
And my guy, look, if diving highlight reel catches are a thing in your league, then go get Dalton Varsho. But other than that, in his last 3 weeks, he's batting 143 with 2 RBIs, hitting 239 in the year with just 7 home runs and only 24 RBIs in 86 games. That's a heck of a sample size to have 24 RBIs.
I was in a majority of people that thought he was a good cheap get coming into the season.
So did I.
He was going to outplay his ADP.
Yep.
Yeah, I was way wrong on that. I mean, I drafted him on 3 teams that I could draft him on. Only in my National League only league that I couldn't draft him, but on the other 3 teams, I drafted him in all 3 of those teams, and he is no longer participating in any of those teams. When he got hurt, I didn't even put him on the IL. I just cut him. I'm like, okay. All right. Thank you for doing me a favor. I don't even want to see his name on my roster. Yeah, he's had a rough year.
Yeah.
Though I agree I agree with cutting him, obviously, since I've done it 3 different times. But from mid-August to the end of the season last year, he was lights out.
Yep.
So it's just probably something to keep an eye on, that if he gets righted, I mean, he's as much to blame as why his productivity is as much to blame as why the Blue Jays are scuffling as anybody, and why Vladdy's not driving in any runs because nobody in front of him can hit.
I brought up the defense because he had a great diving catch tonight. I'm like, okay,
he's a for a converted catcher, he's an elite center fielder.
Yep. Can't hit.
Yeah, but yeah, too bad. Yeah, but there's no defensive metrics. If there's defensive metrics in the fantasy league that you're playing in, I would like to learn more.
Yes, so would I.
They go all the way back to the initial days of our fantasy football foray, where tackles were a stat.
Hey, I do my fantasy football league with my buddy Darren. You know him, and we draft. I think we start 9 defensive players, and $100 goes to the team every year with the top scoring. Win it just about every year. People are drafting their 6th running back, and I'm filling out stat stuffers on defense. It counts. It's a category. I would love to get into a league with defensive metrics.
Chris Spielman is in the Fantasy Football Tackling Hall of Fame.
For sure.
He won us 2 leagues.
How do you put that? I wonder how anybody would get Scott White back on here. I want to find out. How does he make that happen?
Yeah, boy, that'd be a lot of that'd be a tremendous amount of work.
Yes,
that's a full-time league. You can't play in many other leagues if defensive metrics are part of it.
Nope.
But
nope.
Yeah.
All right.
No thanks. All right. Let's
look ahead to next week. Boom. You have a Met. You have a Met on your list.
Look. He's facing Atlanta with an unnamed starter. He's facing Sandy Alcantara, but I mean, his last three, he's 19 Ks and 14 2/3 with a 1.84 ERA and a sub-1 WHIP, and he's still only 50% owned.
That's why I picked him up the other day. I watched him pitch.
I don't know why he's only 50% owned when Mackenzie Gore's still in people's starting line. I mean, honestly. Maybe he's only 23% started because teams are deep and they just grabbed early in their dynasty building. I don't know, but
yeah, my guy, William Wilson Contreras' best buddy, Cade Cavalli. He's started in 45% of leagues, hosting Toronto at Atlanta. His last four. 2-0, 26 strikeouts. He had 13 against the Red Sox. Just 7 earned runs and a WHIP just under 1. And the Nationals are sneaky good right now because they're scoring a ton of runs.
They score a lot of runs.
They score a lot of runs, and most nights they give those runs back. But Cavalli's been he's been pretty solid for them. He's off his little suspension there for that little kerfuffle in Fenway Park not too long ago, but. He'd be a good go next week for 2 starts.
His last five starts, he's 2-0, 2.96 ERA, 37 strikeouts in 27 innings, and his WHIP is he didn't walk anybody. So he's given up 24 base. He's got a sub-1 WHIP in his last 5 starts, and those starts are Philly, Boston, Pittsburgh, the Yankees, and the A's.
Yeah,
that's pretty good lineups, and a Boston team that's hitting. That's pretty good lineups to go 5-0 against, and he is he has had those starts where it makes you like, yeah, do I really want to start him? But I think he's in that right now. While he's not. I have a feeling he's going to get capped sooner than later from an inning standpoint, which scares me going forward with him. But
evening, Bob.
He's really good.
Oh, maybe not. They could jump up into they keep playing well and string together some wins. You get into a wild card race. Let him pitch.
Yeah, what? Yeah. Why not let them? They do have history on their side with Strasburg. So
yeah, right.
I don't think that's their thing. Right now they are they're only a game out of the set. They're only a game out of the last wild card.
Yeah.
The Cardinals, Marlins, Pirates, Diamondbacks, Nationals, and Padres are 2.5 out. 6 teams for 1 spot. The Phils and Cubs have some separation, and the reason they only have the separation they have, the Phils and Braves are going to battle for the division, and the Brewers there's no explanation. There's just none. There's none. They're going to win 5 of those 6 games next week with friggin' Shane Drohan pitching and the ghost of Lance McCullers Jr. and
Logan Henderson,
those games.
Brandon Sproat, who's tantalizing sometimes until you watch him pitch. Every other game he sucks, but he looks like he has it. But I love the Brewers next week at San Francisco 3. And anytime you get the Angels on the schedule, have a party. It's an offensive run fest.
Yeah, it really is. And the Tigers offense has woken up, and when AJ Hinch is saying every game is game 7 right now, that's the way they're playing. And they get to face Baltimore, who's been pitching better, but then they're in Sacra Vegas and they're going to score 1 million runs in those 3 games because the A's just like JT Gunn, he can go bye-bye. Or Gunn and Ginn and everybody else with a G on that starting rotation. You can't pitch them right now because they're both terrible. And they were the
Ginn's hanging in there a little bit. Jump has gotten just destroyed. Actually, they got him out of there Sunday before the 23 runs. He only allowed 3 of them. But
that's a game they should have given Lawrence Butler some love and let him pitch. And instead they pitched Cortez to finish the 9th.
Yeah, right.
I mean, that was a good spot for Butler to get a little bit of playing time. And as I say that the offense has woken up for Detroit, Framber's getting whacked again tonight. Pummeled.
For the Tigers, who they losing to?
They're losing to the Cubs 6-0.
Oh, okay.
But if Framber's probably the worst free agent signing in the offseason of anybody, I would think.
So far, yeah. Yeah. All right. Next week,
we will talk about, similar to hitters that we talked about for the second half, we will talk about pitchers that you should be weary of in the second half.
Be weary of anybody on the A's.
Innings limits. We're going to talk about innings limits next week. That'll be fun.
I got Miz and Chase Burns I got to stress about.
Yeah, I wore my Bob Gibson jersey for that. I'll make everybody make
Let
my
him
head
pitch
explode.
for crying out loud. Let him throw the ball. My God. Shouldn't be that tough.
Nah, get on the mound and have spin it, baby. Let's go.
This shouldn't
Stop
be.
dating
Anyway,
these kids.
next Tuesday, 8 o'clock Eastern live. We'll be back at you, eh?
Hey, peace.